If you just found out that you did not pass nursing school, then keep watching because what I want to do is give you some words of encouragement and also give you some advice on what your next steps should be. Hey, this is Thomas from Nurse Money Talk. And so I just want to add that if you're watching this, then it probably means that you didn't pass a course and that ultimately led to you not passing nursing school. And and the immediate first thing I want to say is that I hope you understand that not passing a class, not passing nursing school or whatever does not make you a failure and it does not define who you are. Like you're not a failure. You just happen to not pass one class or whatever. I mean, so because like my concern is that you'll internalize so much of that then you'll be frozen and you won't want to do anything, or you'll let that kill your dream, whether your dream of being a nurse or whatever that dream is. And so that's my immediate thing that I want to tell you is that you're not defined by this. um, if anything else, I think it's better to say that you'll be defined by the actions that you take next. Those are the important things. Is how do you pick yourself up and take the next steps that you need to take. The next thing is that I do think it's important to go ahead and give yourself permission and time to grieve a bit about this. Whether that's cry it out or whatever. Take time to really grieve about this, and then but also make sure that you don't stay in that spot. You grieve and then go ahead and pick yourself up and then figure out what you need to do. The next thing I should say is that you should look at figuring out what exactly went wrong. And I think knowing what went wrong is important because then that helps guide your steps. Is it a situation where you just didn't understand the material? And so maybe you should have gone into more one-on-one time with the professor, or yet maybe you should have hired a tutor, which I'll put in the link description, where you can go and hire a good nursing tutor. But um, is that the case? Maybe it's a situation where like you had some really bad um, personal personal things going on. Whether it's like a loss in the family that was very devastating to you, and hindered your success in school. And so having an idea of what those mistakes or not mistakes, but having an idea of what led you to be unsuccessful in nursing school is really good for determining what your next steps should be. So, for example, if it's something that happened, like a family issue, is it an issue that's going to be going on indefinitely, or is it an issue that's going to be going on for just a very brief period of time? Maybe that leads you to then decide, well, nursing is not for me. This is not the path I want to go on. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. You're not a failure for it. You're not a quitter for it. It's just you it's just you trying to make best decisions that's good for you or good for your family based on everything that you have. Like if it's about helping people or you just want to be in healthcare, there's a lot of other options out there that can have you helping people or that can have you working in healthcare that doesn't just involve nursing. Some of them actually take less time. Some take more time, or harder schooling or whatever than actual nursing. But either way, it could be something that you enjoy more, or something that will actually have you being successful. And that's the main thing, is what's going to help you end up being successful. Let's assume that you want to stick with nursing and that you want to get back into nursing, that you want to finish nursing. So there's a couple of options at your disposal. You can ask your academic advisor or trusted faculty member on what your options are for ideally being able to come back to the school. Do you have to make an appeal? Maybe look at transferring to another program. Check with those academic advisors. See if that's an option for you to be able to transfer into another program. And maybe you need to look at, like I said before, maybe you do need to take a break. Maybe it's not to move out of nursing, the career in nursing, but maybe you just need to take a break from schooling. Maybe it's a situation where maybe you need to um, go back to work for a bit. And the thing about the going back to work is that, and I'll link to it either somewhere up there or in the description, about like an opportunity where, depending on your state, you might even be able to sit. If you were going through an RM program, you might even be able to sit for the LPN exam, depending on what state and how far you got into the program. So I'll put a link to that as well, so you can check that out. Because if it is an opportunity for you to actually sit for the LPN exam, and maybe, and then you get your LPN, then you know what? Maybe that's an option to go work for a little bit and let things settle down. The last thing I do want to mention, and I know that it's going to seem kind of weird that I'm bringing this up, but I have heard of it being a problem for students who are in this particular situation you might be in, but don't really kind of think about that. It doesn't cross their minds, and that's student loans. To keep in mind that your student loans were probably in deferment, and when you are no longer in school, they'll probably end up coming out of deferment at some point. So I do want you to, as well, regardless of which decision that you make, that you do kind of keep that in mind, because I don't want you to then get surprised like 6 months later or whatever, when you then start getting a letter or a bill, or worse yet, your credit then gets hit because of missed payments. I really hope that you did find some parts of this encouraging. I want you to know that I have met other nurses who have failed classes and failed whatever, and they turned out and ended up having very, very successful careers. And I think part of the big thing that helped those nurses who I'm thinking of right now is that they did not let um, not passing a class or not passing a school define them. They did not let them define who they are, and they did not let let that keep them from their dream, which was for them to become a nurse. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any thoughts or comments, you can leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified of any of our new videos, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And I will catch you in the next one.